So this type of engagement is very important so that we don't lose, let's say, the undergraduate students because the speaker is truly has such difficulties that they do not help understanding the content. And remember, these are the TAs who will have to explain concepts that they didn't understand from the professor's lecture. So they are the ones, and sometimes professors themselves have such heavy accents that then they have to be understood better through a TA. So I think what the reason there is a test in place is to find this middle ground where we do not lose the diversity, the brain power of that student who is going to be a TA in that class, and accept the accent level, and also engage the student not only in the subject matter, but I think our research in the future is going to show that our brain needs these types of diversities, these types of associations, and it will work harder. So I just wanted to throw out that why we do have tests, and what is the test, why is the test here to, what is it to accomplish, and what are the different ways. And in testing, we are trying to create an authentic situation. This is what tests are. We are trying to recreate the teaching assistance situation in the classroom. So we have to try to do it in the least invasive way and get the best result from the test takers.
I just wanted to add something here. I think it's clear that we're really concerned that the test should be authentic. So I think that was the focus so far. But I would like to add that out of the scoring categories, the 4 scoring categories, we have pronunciation. So one more time: pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, question handling, and rhetoric organization. Pronunciation has weight 1.5. It's more important because it's an oral test. And also, if it is extremely distracting, it will interfere with the other categories, because you wouldn't know, for example, if a problem is with pronunciation or if it is a vocabulary or a grammatical issue. So it does interfere with the other categories, but again, it's the most important category.
Okay, so I would just like to comment on a couple of things. So Mostafa mentioned that he felt that the test kind of mirrored what he expected to happen in the classroom, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, once you got in the classroom, reflecting back on the test, you thought that there was some correlation or some representation of what was expected. And then you mentioned also that you took some ESL courses. And I just want to point out that these courses are very particular ESL courses. They're not like general multi-skills courses. They're oral skills courses specifically designed for the types of language that is expected of successful international TAs in a classroom setting. One of which is called communication in the classroom. One is pronunciation, specifically designed for activities and sets of language use that's expected in kind of interactive settings for good teaching practices. And then the other is kind of discussion leading. And there are a few others, but those are, I think, at this time the most popular courses. And I want to also acknowledge the fact that although pronunciation, and this is noted in even the training of raters, affects the perception that one has of grammatical competence, organizational competence, and question handling, right? So pronunciation is weighted heavier for those reasons. We don't currently have anything to assist these international TAs with grammar specifically, or oral grammar specifically. So in these pronunciation courses, these oral skills courses, we do try to incorporate it, but they're, I don't know, in my experience as a coordinator, I noticed that that is also a significant category for international students, the ways that the raters perceive their grammar to be, and sorry, we don't have anything to help you with that. So you can take these pronunciation classes, and it is going to significantly affect the way that you are perceived, and also going to impact in positive ways your interaction and your definitely your discourse style, which has an impact on the way that people perceive your fluency and your level of proficiency. So I wanted to mention that.
actually wanted to, Bahiyyih, if you could talk a little bit about some of the recruitment of raters and questioners, and then just maybe a couple changes that you have in mind for the test currently, since you're the current coordinator.
Right, so for raters, we usually send out the invitation for applications for the entire campus. We usually hire grad students on campus. It could be from different courses. I mean, we would like to have them a variety, but we also appreciate people with applications that have more training in testing or some sort of assessment. After we select and we work with OID and see how many people we can actually hire. OID is the Office of Instructional Development here at UCLA. So we usually train these raters to become better raters, and then we norm them. So we have a very strict training, mandatory training, and very strict norming. And only the most successful normed raters will actually be invited to rate for real live test dates. For questioners, we usually hire, not usually, hire undergrads. We have 2 raters and 2 questioners per testing session, or per testing room. So we again invite the entire campus, so all undergrads could apply, and in this case they don't have to be trained in assessment or testing. We just want people that have had experience in the classroom, so usually after second year, so second, third year undergrads are best. Fourth year because they're going probably to leave campus soon, but so we want them to stay for a while, and especially after training. And the undergrads are the people that are going to interact with the test takers. They're the ones that ask the questions, and they tell the raters somehow if the performance or the presentation of the test taker was clear, because they will probably require clarifications or ask for something to be explained again. So it's a more authentic way of showing the raters if the presentation was clear or not, ideally. And these questioners are trained to do this job and to keep the test going until the job is done, which is to assess, the raters have to assess these test takers. Oh, yeah. So as part of making sure that the raters are appropriately trained,